Simon, thank you for the time and for the interview here at
Of course.
Estado de São Paulo.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Okay, let's start. I wish I could speak just a little bit about what you saw here in Brazil. You were with a lot of people here, so what was about the conversations you had these 2 days you were here?
Yeah, well, look, it's been great to catch up with the creative community here, especially after the year that Brazil has had. I mean, great to see such a fantastic performance in 2022 at the Lions, but to better that in 2023 is quite an achievement. So what I saw was a lot of passion, a lot of heart, a lot of emphasis on creativity, of course, and a lot of aspiration for next year, for 2024.
So that was amazing to see that results from Brazil, and we hope next year we have like better
Oh yeah,
numbers.
let's see.
Simon, the last time we were visiting Brazil, people from the creative industry were asking you about diversity. What changed since the last time you were here? What the Can Lions did for the past year?
Many things is the short answer, but what we tried to do was take it back to the lion. You know, that's the thing that launched us 70 years ago. It has so much influence in culture and how the winners actually affect the world as well. So, one of the things we really wanted to do was to look at who was actually awarding the lion. You know, the people that sit around that table on the global stage and decide which work is best in the world. It's so important that our juries start to represent society rather than just reflect the industry. And so we have a completely open and fair nomination process. If anyone can apply to be a juror through our official representatives and through the different channels that we have available. But for us, it has to be a priority going forwards, not just for our juries, but also for how we cast the stages at Cannes as well. You know, we are better when we hear from different experiences, different voices, and you know, we have to reflect the global nature of our brand. We have to reflect society. So that's been the big ambition for this year. And obviously, it's an ongoing journey. It's something that we'll continue to prioritize.
This was the first time we had people from Middle East and also a non-English speaker at the Cannes Festival. So how this enriched the creative world, how these people could help us to have like more creativity and to make the business grow.
Yeah, well, we had our first president from the Middle East, as you said, Ali Rez, who did a fantastic job and brought a different kind of leadership and perspective to the table. And that's so important. I think a lot of the juries mentioned that, you know, the body of work that we recognized as best in the world would look very different if we just had a very homogenous jury, if we had a jury that was made up of the same type of people. And so one of the things we were also very conscious to do this year was pilot something new. You know, we had a fantastic candidate for a president role from Japan. This person does not speak English, which is fine. And we felt really strongly that this person deserved a chance. So we introduced, for the first time in Cannes Lions history, a live translation to the jury itself, which worked incredibly well. And because we were able to do that, he was able to bring a very strong perspective from Asia, from Japan, which obviously brought a lot of richness to the conversation. And that's something that we'll continue to build on in future years.
I think it's a challenge to have that kind of translation, but it helps to connect with the people, with these new people on the jury.
Yeah, look, it's not easy. It requires a level of tolerance and patience, but also the value of hearing the perspective that you would never normally get to hear because they wouldn't be in the room is the payoff. So I think everyone who participated in that particular jury really saw the benefit.
Everybody's talking about AI, and there was a topic for
Yes.
the last events, and everybody everywhere were talking about AI. How do you see that new kind of tools to work with creative? So how can they help us and not cut jobs and be used as a new tool to develop the creative world?
Yeah, well, I think the really important thing to remember is that we own the tools, they don't own us. Um, it's safe to say that there was a lot of talk about artificial intelligence at the festival this year. It dominated the stages in Cannes. But I think the common theme that really came through, and this is certainly how we feel as a festival, is that it's just another tool that enables creativity. If anything, if we can harness it in the right way, it will hopefully free us up from some of the more mundane work that we do today to really elevate our thinking to produce better creative. And so I think that's really exciting. So we don't see it as a threat, we see it as the equivalent of Photoshop in the 80s.
That's just a tool, not something that will cut jobs.
Absolutely. I think we're safe as long as there is still human intervention. We're still going to have to make the decisions and inform the technology. And that in itself is highly creative.
Let's talk a little bit about the categories. Someone is getting out as we have the new category as luxury and lifestyle lions. So could you tell us a little bit about how you change these categories and how you bring this new one to the table and why?
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredibly important that our categories, the new lions that we have, reflect the changing nature of the industry. So, we may decide to introduce new lions to provide a platform to showcase some of the best work in the world for particular sectors or specialisms. But it's equally as important that we are continually assessing the lions that we have to look at which lions may need to be retired. A few years ago, we decided to retire the cyber lions. I mean, even that sounds very old now, using that kind of language. But basically, digital became a part of the fabric of our industry. And so it was everywhere. There was no longer a need for a dedicated lion. And the same will be the case for mobile in 2024. Mobile is a part of everything. So there is no longer a need for a dedicated lion.
I wish we could talk just a little bit about money and numbers. Everybody is under the pressure of the cutting budgets. So how do you see the market for the next years to come about the increase of the budget for the industry?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge, and especially this time of year when everyone's thinking about budgets for next year. But the really encouraging thing is that we are seeing every year more clients, more brands coming to the festival than ever before. And when we ask them why they come, the main reason or the main theme is that they come because they are alive to the possibility of creativity. Creativity, more specifically, as a tool that can be used to drive businesses. So I think for a lot of brands, the case for creativity has already been won. And now it's about application. How do we put or introduce the conditions for success that makes creativity not only inevitable, but also highly effective? And so because of that reason, because brands are consistently investing in creativity, I don't think we have too much to worry about. But let's see how 2024 pans out.
We're kind of waiting to see the numbers to go up. Talking about the budgets, I wish we could talk a little bit about the creative impact of the program Can Lions have launched. So how this could help us in this environment.
Yeah, so as part of our 70th edition this year, we wanted to not only showcase the work, as we always do, but introduce a content track across the festival called Creative Impact. And that was very much designed with brands in mind, but also agencies. And it was designed to give people the tools to be able to introduce things that are needed within an organization to unlock creativity. So, what are the things that you need to change about your culture or how you work with your agency? How do you need to influence your C-suite in order to get their buy-in and change the mindset of how they might see the role of creativity within their organization? So teaching people how to put those things in place so that creativity can play a greater role within any organization. And I have to say, it was the most highly rated content at the festival. So that's something that we'll build on for next year.
To finish, what do you want to see next year for the Cannes Festival? What you are looking for what you were expecting from the agencies, from the clients, from the people? What you want to see next year?
I think what we always see, we always look forward to seeing how creativity and also the boundaries of creativity are broken and reestablished every year. Holding up the best in the world and being able to analyze that and get a glimpse into the future is very exciting. And then, to follow on from this year, to continue to help brands and agencies make the case for creativity. It's so important for our industry that we're connecting what we do with creativity within creative departments and marketing departments with the boardroom.
Simon, once again, thank you for your time and for the interview, and we hope to see you soon here in Brazil.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me.
A gente conversou com Simon Cook, presidente do Festival Internacional de Cannes Lions, do qual o Estadão é o representante oficial aqui no Brasil. Fica ligado para as próximas entrevistas sobre o tema aqui na TV Estadão.